Hello guys, I'm Savvy and welcome back to another Conan Exiles build video. It's been a little bit since I've done one. The last one that I did was a little gazebo that I think turned out really well. It was made out of Argosian and Aquilonian. But in this one, I think I'm in the mood to building another castle. And this one's going to be a little bit more simple than the actual simple castle that I built last time, which both the gazebo and the castle build will be at the end of this video. But before I get started, I want to ask you guys to hit that subscribe button because I'd really appreciate that. My next goal is to reach 2,500 subscribers, and we're making some pretty good progress already, but you know, the more the merrier, and the more that you guys will become superstars if you guys hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that like button as well. I'd really appreciate that. But today we're going to be building out of different materials, and just as usual, we're going to be building out of some of my favorites, and one of those is going to be, let's see, so we have stone brick, which is pretty good to use, but I really think that building out of either Nemedian, which is pretty good for castles, or building out of, where is it? I would say building out of stone, or reinforced stone would be good too. So just to compare side by side with one another, we could do all of these that are different levels. And these are technically different levels anyway, because we have stone brick, which is level 2, reinforced stone, which is level 3, and then everything else below that, or everything else around that is level 3, all the DLC stuff. So this would be level 3 as well. We're not going to be using the foundations for these though, but these are kind of the comparisons here between each one. And I kind of like level 2 and obviously level 3, but for Nemedian. So I'm not a big fan of the reinforced stone. So I think for this build, I think we'll actually build this out of the stone brick this time. Let's switch it up a little bit this time. So starting out, we are going to just grab our stone brick, and I'm going to just use the foundations here because we're going to make the outline first, and then we're going to go back in and use some fence foundations and the like, and then move on from there. So this is going to be a simple castle, or I guess we could call this a basic castle. So it's going to be more square-like. So what I'm going to do is just build not an entirely a square, but it's going to be more of a rectangle. And it's not going to be large at all. I definitely want to make it pretty decently sized. So, and I want this to be an odd number. And the reason for that is because the gate frame that I'm going to be using is 3 wide. So I want to make sure that it is odd. So we're going to do 9 wide. And we're going to make the sides here even. So we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7. We'll do 7. So 2 less than 9 equals 7. And then we will build it up like that. And this is our rectangle. Beautiful, beautiful rectangle. But we're not done yet, because just like with castles that you see in pictures and stuff, we gotta make the towers for them, or at least make the outline for them first. Now there's 2 different ways that I can do this. Now I can either make a round tower, or I can make a square tower. Now, with the way that this is shaped, it's going to be kind of difficult to make a rounded tower unless I decided to put a wedge right here in the corner, and there won't be any access to it that way. And I think it'd be better if I brought it around like so. And it just looks awkward because there's no real centered way to do it. So we're going to use a square tower instead. And we're just going to add 3 more of these foundations here on each of these corners, so that way all of it is even Steven. So we have something like this. So a nice rectangle with some square corners, just like so. And, I mean, if you want to, you could maybe add a little bit of this front here, because this is where the gate frame is going to go. I'm not going to add the gate frame just yet, because we have to add the fence foundations around and then go back in with the ceilings. So I'm going to go ahead and get our stone brick foundations. And this one, it kind of doesn't really matter. I mean, you can see how the inside and outside kind of faces different directions, but they're pretty much similar in the way that they're made. So in this case, it doesn't really matter how you have it set up. So, and I honestly think that I want to build this up at least 2 high because I kind of want to make a some kind of grand entrance going up to the castle. Instead of it just being flat on the ground or like really close to it where there's hardly any step up to it. So once I'm done with this, then I'll actually bring this up one more. So I'm just going to put this around because it'll be the same shape as before. So I'll see you guys once I finish that. Alright, so this is what it looks like with the fence foundations around, and I went ahead and took the liberty of removing the foundations, the regular ones, because we're going to go back through and use the ceilings in order for us to um, make the floor and everything. And honestly, this gives a good opportunity for it being two blocks high to where you can make a basement where you could hide your goodies and everything, probably treasures and all that. Especially if you're probably building this in PvEC or PvP, but for something like this that would take very long to build, I don't think it'd be a good. I don't think it'd be wise to build this in PvE. But I mean, to each their own. So I don't know if I want to use these stone brick ceilings for this because I kind of want to have more of a wooden floor than this. Also, these sets are from Age of Calamitous, so we're not going to be using those. My favorite kind of wooden floor is from the Frontier. It just looks really good. Although I don't really think it matches that well when it comes to the stone brick, so maybe what would be better would be something that might be more akin to stone, and especially not, well, not these, definitely not the median ceilings, because I do not like the way the wood looks either. So, kind of have to think here for a moment. There's the stable ceilings, which don't look that bad. It's just they have the nails in there, which doesn't really bother me that much. So I don't see that to be a problem. And I don't think anything else really matches this either, unless you were to use maybe some modded building pieces. So I think I'm going to go through and use the stable ceilings. Now the stable building pieces you can get from Riders of Hyboria. That is what you can get from there. And you can get them from Steam or the store, like PlayStation Store, or in what is in the Bazaar, which is right here. And you can go to DLC and they have them all available here. So you could just do that if you want to. So as I'm building this around here, I'm going to be placing pillars underneath at some points because we want to make sure that there is enough stability underneath the castle, because as we're building up, since these rooms are going to be quite large, we want to make sure that there is enough support underneath those walls as well as the floor. And who knows, we might actually, I think we'll put some pillars inside like the Grand Hall or something. And since this is a basic castle, it's going to have just the hall, the Grand Hall, and then maybe an upstairs, because the gate frame is actually 4 blocks high. So we're going to have probably 2 floors. And the way that's going to work is the Grand Hall is going to be pretty much just as tall as the gate frame, but then on the sides we're going to have rooms on the side and probably some stairs going up as we go along. So I'm going to leave an opening here so I can get underneath. It doesn't really matter which kind of pillar you're using, and since I'm already on stables, I'm going to go ahead and just put these pillars down here, just like so. And I want to mirror these just to make it look kind of uniform in a way, because otherwise it just looked kind of goofy if they weren't, and they were just kind of sprawled out willy-nilly, you know? That is not... No, this one goes here, there, and here, just like so. And I also want to put these in the middle as well. Just that way it covers all of the bases here. Then we have something like this, which looks really good. And then we just cover this up, just like so. And look at that. Now that should have quite a bit of stability underneath it. So then the next part that we're going to do is go back into the stone brick, and we're going to build the walls up for both the towers and the castle itself. But actually, before I do that as well, I need to get the... Oh, that's right. Since it's... I'm a little bit surprised because I don't think... Because insulated wood has a wooden gateway, but for some reason... Oh no, here it is. I'm just blind. I was like, wait a minute, where's the gate frame for the stone brick? I found it. So it's a little finicky at times. Oh, never mind. You have to do it at a certain angle, placing this here because it doesn't want to cooperate sometimes. And then we have the gate door here, but I'm honestly thinking we could use a different kind of door, different kind of gate door for this. Something that might fit better with the theme. I mean, technically, the, you know, the gate door with the gate frame of the same thing would work. I mean, nothing's different with that, but kind of like a similar color. Like the Argosian door looks pretty good. What about this Flotsam? Oh, the Flotsam gate door doesn't look too bad. That kind of matches well. We have the Frontier one. That doesn't really match. So kind of go through all of these. We have Keton. The Nemedian one is a rounded one, so that's not going to work as much. It's not going to work as well because there's going to be gap there. We also have this here, which, yep, there's gaps in there as well. Turanian, a little too gold for my taste, or at least for this. Oh, Yamatai. I'm gonna go with the Yamatai because I think that kind of shade of gold matches, and I like the brown there. So I'm gonna go with that. Beautiful. All right, so the next thing we're gonna do is just start building up these walls, and I'm gonna leave some spaces in for some windows, so that way, you know, you can see inside or see outside and or inside, depending on your reference of position in the castle. And I'm going to put a window there, but this part is going to be separated because this is going to be the hall, the grand hall here, but it's also going to have some pathways, some doorways, doorways that lead into other areas. Now, for this part back here, I'm honestly thinking of bringing this out by using wedges, like so, just because I don't want a completely flat wall back here. And this is, you could also consider this pretty basic as well, because you're just using, it doesn't really add too much intricacies, if I could say that, intricacies into the build, meaning that it's not going to be too difficult with this. So once I have this here, and you could technically leave the foundations there, but I'm just going to get rid of it just for the sake of brevity. And I believe, yeah, here they are. These wedges can be placed here, just like so, and I'm going to get rid of these fence foundations here since this is open up, and I don't want that poking through. And then this part can have some windows here. Now, these are part of a... These were in the bazaar where you could buy the arcane version of these. And I think that they're going to work quite well for a lot of these windows. I'm probably going to use these throughout. And unfortunately, they have not been in the store for a long time. So I have no idea if they plan on adding them anytime soon. Or pretty much anything from the battle passes. Because I know that they said before, or Funcom talked about how if you missed any of the battle passes from before, they were going to put a different version of them in the store. So not the exact same copy of them, but a version of them that you'll be able to get. So I don't know if I like it that much. I don't know if I like that idea. Instead of, you know, just putting the real thing in the store. I mean, I can go on a tangent about like Destiny 2 doing the same thing where after the season's over and they sunsetted the season pass, I just think that they should put the season pass armor into the store so people have the option to buy it. That's just my opinion, though. I mean, they don't have to. Obviously, they haven't, and they probably won't do that. But you know, I think it'd be wise to do that. I mean, just an opportunity for them to make more money potentially, I guess. And plus, it was already made anyway in the battle pass, so there's no fuss about, you know, spending the resources and everything because they've already done it. I don't know. I can go off on a tangent quite a bit with stuff like that, but we're not going to do that. We got to focus on the building. The building's important. All right, so I'm going to bring these up to around the same height as the gate frame all the way around because I want to at least focus on the hall, the Great Hall first. Put a ceiling down and everything. And I might as well just use the same kind of ceiling that I have for the floor that we have right here. And every time I skip one, I'm going to put another set of windows. Only because I'm going to consider them like a space and then a floor because putting two windows up here, it'll just be... If we put a ceiling here, it's too low. Way too low for our heads. So the door I'm going to put through here is probably going to be closer to the front door because I want to leave a lot of space here for like a throne or something. And probably some wall decorations too. Just ensuring that, you know, it is a grand hall after all. I want to make sure everything's grand. The only time that I'll leave a space in between two is for this grand hall itself. So that way you can see out the windows right here. And then just kind of leave some light in from the top. Just direct some light in through there. And we're going to be putting this beautiful... There's an arcane door frame, which doesn't work on the inside because it's meant for outside uses. So it's not really wise to kind of put them here because it doesn't really match. But I'm going to put them in here anyway because this is a castle and we need fancy stuff. We want fancy stuff in this castle. Oh, it stopped raining. Cool. So once we have this hall completely walled off, like so, I don't know where I put that. Oh, the wall was... No, I didn't mean to do that. Oh, I hate when that happens. Yeah, that's... I should be able to put it back easily the same way that I did before. Or I might have to leave space here in order for me to do it. Yeah, because, again, these things are finicky. Yeah, there we go. Very, very finicky. And if you mess up with it, you just pretty much have to... Obviously, you have to place it back, but you have to remove a bunch of stuff in order for it to work. Also, this is not the height that I wanted it to be. It, for some reason, decided to be a little bit higher. Okay, I'm going to readjust this again. Come on. Oh, there we go. Now you're the right height. Thank you, game. Thank you for cooperating with me, finally. Really appreciate it. Okay, so once we get these walls all the way around here, all the way up to the height that I that I described before, excuse me. Sorry, my voice is a little... Yeah, I'm probably gotta take a drink of water here in a minute. But yeah, we just want to put all these around here. And I'm not cutting this part out just because, you know, maybe there's something in the middle of this where I'm like, you know what, this would probably look better if I, you know, made a shape like this, or if I, you know, decide to put a roof here or something else. Because usually these ideas are kind of just off the cuff and a kind of a design that pops into my head. So I don't really design them myself. I just kind of go off of maybe things that I have seen kind of inspiration for one, but for two, just something that I think would look cool if I were to build it in Conan Exiles. Because Conan Exiles building is pretty good. It is pretty good. I would argue that the best place, or the best game that has building would be 7 Days to Die. Because the building in that game, or the options that you have for different blocks, different building pieces, is way, like, it's a huge variety. Huge variety. So if I ever were to do a video of 7 Days to Die with building something, which would take a lot longer than it would in this game, there's several reasons for that, but I won't go into details about that. But if I do, I would definitely show that off to you guys. So, all right, so we finished off these walls going up at the top here. So the next part we're going to do is put a ceiling in, but I actually am thinking that I should put the stone brick ceilings up here instead, because this is going to be kind of an open roof here. So the towers are going to go up, and then I have sort of another idea of the middle part instead of it just being completely flat. So, and then I'll also section off some floors here, which we'll do that once we go on the inside. I won't be doing any decorations for this because I kind of want to just make this a basic build, and you guys can fill this out however you want. But I will show a tour at the end of the spaces that exist in here as I've built them. So the stone brick is going to be used for the roof here. Now, the thing about this is that we have to keep in mind where these wooden beams are underneath. Otherwise, if I just place them willy-nilly, they are not going to align correctly, and it's just going to bother me. And I'm pretty sure it'd bother you guys too, rightfully so. And some of these you might have to twist around where they're exactly aligned, because some of them won't turn the way that you want them to. And you just have to keep a close eye on them. All right. Just like so. Because you can see how the beams are slightly off-centered if they're not in the right position. And they're not lined up correctly. Some of the time they'll be cooperative, other times not so much. Oop. Sometimes it cancels too for some reason because the game is a little finicky. But we'll get there. Just like that. Alright, so I'm going to do the same exact thing on these other sides. So you want it to look just like this. This is what it looks like on the outside. So, and we're going to do the same thing for the middle and for the right side. So I'll see you guys. I'll cut this part out. So I'll see you guys in a second. Alright, so the ceilings are in. They are looking really good. They're aligned correctly. And from the outside, it looks just like this. Looks really good. So the last things we're going to do is build up the towers. Well, this is not the final thing, but the next step towards finishing off at least the outside, because we are going to put some lights in here too. And I don't know why I'm building up like that. So we want to fill out these squares, just like so, and kind of follow the same pattern as these here, but we're not going to go too high with these. And by too high, I mean T-O-O, not T-W-O. And we're going to go up maybe 2 blocks high. Yeah, I think that's a comfortable spot right there. And we're going to do this all the way around, and following the same window pattern as before, leaving a space in between, and then putting a window in the next level above that, and then just like so. That looks good. And we do this for all 4 sides, because we want to keep that symmetry there. Although there are times where castles will have different heights when it comes to their towers or turrets. Turrets is another way of calling them that, calling the towers that. But we're, just for the sake of it being a simple castle build, we're going to just do every single one of these at the same height. Because if I were to, I'd probably make one of these one high, and then one of them 3 high, and then the other two 2 high. Just kind of mix it up a little bit like that. But I'm not gonna do that. Keep it simple, simple, simple savvy. Simple savvy. All right. So this is what it looks like right here. Now for these ceilings here, it doesn't really matter to me how these are set up because you're not going to go inside those towers. Now if you want to do that, you can have an access point up here on the roof and put a door frame on each of these towers just to kind of put something in there. Could be some kind of bench of some kind, or could be storage or whatever. Because we are going to build the upstairs. We are going to build stairs and more ceilings as well. But I want to finish this top part first, and then we can probably make some roof access. Because we also had to separate the rooms and whatnot too. All right, so the next part we can go to is just putting the fences down, which act as a barrier around the castle. Now, these stone brick, the stone brick building style does not have crenulated walls, unfortunately. They only have fences. The tier 3 building blocks, those have crenulated walls. So we're just going to have to deal with this. And I'm going to leave these flat because I prefer the flat version of the towers rather than the roofed towers. It might also depend too, depending on the size of the build and whatnot. Like if it was a small tower, then maybe it'd look better. But for a build like this, where it's built out of this stone brick, I think it just looks better with a flat roof. So we have something like this, which looks pretty snazzy, not gonna lie. So the idea that I had for the middle was creating a smaller rectangle with smaller towers. So like a smaller version of the basic castle we just built. So I'm gonna build a little square, like so, on each of these corners, making sure that there's symmetry between each of them. Like this. And for the rectangle, let's see, how much space does that have in between? So that's 2. So we'd have to do something like this, where it leaves a space in between there. And then we do the same thing here. And I don't want the rectangle to be too big. I definitely just want it to be kind of small. And the way I'm going to go about this is kind of make this flush with these towers, but the towers are going to go above that. And I think the way I'm going to do this as well is build this up to 2 high, and then the towers are going to be 1 height above that. So as you can see right here, and I think windows would probably be good for this too, just for the sake of brevity. Just like how I did throughout the other parts here. And just for the sake of this too, we're going to use these door frames. I think it'd probably be good to use them here on these sides. And technically I do not have to build these towers here, but that was kind of a place marker to where those are going to go. And for the ceilings here, I guess we can go the same route as I did for the downstairs, which was making sure that these beams face the correct direction. Make sure they match up correctly. And then we have something like this. Then these towers are going to go up 1 more high, like so. Just 1 height above. Because if it was two blocks high, it kind of looked awkward. And I accidentally got rid of that. That's another problem in creative mode. You can easily get rid of those blocks there, and it just becomes annoying trying to set it back up. Alright, let's grab our fences. Put this around. Just like so. Put another ceiling in, which this one doesn't matter which way they face because it's only 1. And then go back in one more time with our fences. Make sure they face the right way. You want the outside facing towards you. And we have something like this. I like that. That looks good. That's pretty snazzy. I like it. All right, so one of the next things, since we're outside, is placing down an entryway to this place. Now, I realize that this isn't going to work with the door in place, so we're going to have to put these down. And I decided to use these stone brick fences, or fences, ceilings here, just to kind of match the whole theme with this. There's no need for me to look around for any extra stuff or anything like that. So I'm going to bring this out as, not as far as I can, but at least a comfortable distance from the front entrance. And then I'm going to go through and put fence foundations here, so that way they are supporting this. I mean, you could call this a porch, technically. Like, I'm just simply call it a porch, just for the time being. And I'm gonna go 2 in, like so. And then the 3 left, that's here, I'm gonna put some wedges, like so. And this will also be where stairs come into play. And I'm going to use the stone brick stairs with railing, like so. And I want to make sure that these can attach together, which we may have to have a little bit more support for these before we do such things. So we have that, and we got to make sure that these, yeah, there we go. Connect up like so. These go down like this. Perfect. And for the walls here, I'm going to use some of these left sloping and right sloping wedges on both sides. So that way they are connected up together for both. Sometimes it doesn't want to work, other times it does. So we just gotta try to work with it, you know. Sometimes it wants to work, sometimes it doesn't. I think another idea would be to place... would a square ceiling work better with that? Yeah, square ceiling there. That way there is something that the wedges can sit on. Or the sloping triangles can sit on. And then we have something like that. It doesn't matter if that one's like really into the ground, so it doesn't really matter that much how that faces, or if that's attached to the stairs or not. So then I'm going to do the same thing here. This side's a little bit higher up, so it will matter with how we place these sloping walls too. So we have something like this. Beautiful, that looks great. And then we'll go back in with the fences here. Just like so. And then we go back in with the Yamatai door, because that's what I want to use for our gate door. Boom! We have something like this. That is beautiful. Alright, so the next thing comes that is on its way is the inside. So just as before, I'm just going to use these ceilings here as the second floor as well, just to keep it simple. The stables one. But I also have to keep in mind that I want to separate some of these into rooms. So the way this will work is probably this wing will be probably like the dining room and the kitchen, potentially. So we could separate this by putting wall here and a wall here. So this small area will be the kitchen. This will have a dining room here. Probably another, like a corner table or something. I think that looked good. I don't expect like a lot of people to live in this castle, because again, it's a basic castle. The upstairs is going to have the bedrooms and whatnot. So now I'm going to use that door frame there. The only problem I might have is putting the stairs in. Because I mean, there's a good set of stairs, but it's only Argosian, and that will not match at all with what I'm doing. Unless, well, no, it's not going to work this way either. Because if I were to put some stairs right here, this would shrink the kitchen a little bit, but I could bring this forward a little bit instead by 1. That way the kitchen has a little bit more room, and it's just about the same size. The kitchen might actually need more space. Making lots of food for the people that live in the castle, you know? And I had this facing the wrong way. I want the brick to face towards... Oh no, you know what? No. We're gonna have it face that way. Yeah. Face this way. And the idea I had for the stairs was to put a railing set of stairs here. Although, now that I think about it, we set it here. And if I even put stairs there, that's not going to work. Because that'll go outside. So that doesn't work. So the next best thing would be to put stairs probably literally just right here. But in the kitchen, probably wouldn't make sense. So the grand hall probably wouldn't make sense either. But I do think that it would be cool to kind of have this entrance as you walk in, the stairs are up there, and then the actual grand hall is its own separate room. I think we'll do it that way. That might be the better alternative to that instead of what I was trying to do. So the way that I'm thinking about it is going up, yeah, twice here. And then, or not twice, actually, get rid of that and that. Putting a ceiling here, here, and then here, and then a stair going up like that. No, that's not going to work either. No, I think what I had before is going to work. Let me figure this out real quick. Okay, so the way that I decided to do this was putting some stairs that go up to these doorways. And these stairs have railings, so, you know, that's pretty good. I'm not going to put doors in these just to kind of make it easier for the tour, but up here I also put in some separations with these walls here because these will represent what could be considered bedrooms. So we have a bedroom here. There's kind of like a hallway sort of deal going on here. Like it's this middle area between rooms where you could put maybe some chairs, tables, or maybe even a bench or two up here. And the same thing goes for this side as well. I kind of separated the same way so it mirrors the other side. And there's two sets of stairs you can go to. So like if you probably want to go to the right side, you can go up the right side of stairs, or the left side, you can go the left side of stairs. And down here, I'm actually going to leave this whole space open because this could be where all the crafting benches go. These could be where these go like in the corners and on the sides of the walls and everything. So that way there's enough space for maybe most of them, maybe not all of them. But the next thing we're going to do a little bit of decoration. And what I mean is putting some lights in because lights are important to see. So I'm going to use these Aquilonian braziers. I'm just going to go ahead and just place these down. I really do like the bottom of the stable ceilings. They're pretty nice. And I should probably put them more centered here because it's 3 instead of like 4 or 2. So we'll do that instead. Now I'll do the same thing on this side as well. Put that there. That one's 4, so I'll put right there. And then a light right here. Always want to make sure that there's enough light in these places. Now in here, I gotta use the Aquilonian hanging lamp. These are a must. These are definitely a must. So I'm gonna put one right there and one right here. I could probably center that a little bit more. Yeah, just like that. Looks pretty good. I like that. And if you don't think that that's enough light, you could probably put in probably a Turanian brazier to go above the door, like so. Just like that. That looks pretty good. And then upstairs, obviously, we're going to have to light this up too. Kind of go modest, so more Aquilonian braziers. And I'm going to put this right here instead. That looks a little bit more centered. And then same thing like downstairs, just put them in spots that are more centered to this. The outside's going to be better because we'll decorate with actually braziers that sit on the ground. So that'll be good to use. And once all that's done on that side, we'll go back over here to this side and mirror it pretty much. We like symmetry here. Although some builds, like castle builds, I prefer more the asymmetrical type of castle builds, only because they look a little bit more unique. But, you know, to each their own. But again, this is more of a simple castle build. So for these towers that are up here, these are actually perfect spots for us to put braziers on. And it doesn't matter which kind of brazier you want to put on the ground. For these smaller towers, I'm going to use these smaller braziers on each of these corners. Just like so. And then for these ones, we could use much larger ones. We could use the Aquilonian brazier, which they're just good overall for a lot of builds. Even though it doesn't really match that well, in my opinion, it still does the job. And you're not really going to see them that much, because who's going to climb all the way up here? You know, who's going to do that? I didn't decide to put stairs on that goes up to here, only because the way that it would work, I mean, it would kind of be hard to work. Unless I did put stairs in here somehow that goes up, which actually could work. You know what? Let's do that. Let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to change my mind. And we're going to do the railing again, so we can break this open. Just like so. It's okay to leave sunlight in here, because anybody who does climb up here, and if they do come down here somehow, they'll just be met with like doors in the way. So it's not bad. But I'm gonna go ahead and just close it off like this. Or I could put well, the frame there won't work because it'll be too low to go up the stairs. Unless your character's like really tiny. like a short character. I'm gonna also put fences there too. And that'll lead up to here, and then we can do the same thing on the opposite side. Because this actually turned out to work pretty nice. Pretty nicely. And it fills in the space too, you know, it's not like big and empty like some of the ones downstairs. So this does fill it out quite nicely. The only problem is that we're gonna have to move these braziers now, which isn't entirely a problem. It's just the inconvenience of having to do it. So we'll just put them there. We get the pleasure of getting the sunlight that comes down from here, which is pretty cool. But there we go. We have that done. Now, out here in the front, we want to be a little bit more fancy with it, because I want to put some statues in. Statues are definitely important. Like, the outside is what the first impression is, you know? That's the first impression. That's too big. That's too big. These ones are just the right size. And I'm thinking of using... It'd probably be best with these ones, because I wish they had versions where it's the mirrored version, or at least give me an option to flip them horizontally or something. Or I can have them face a different direction. That way it's, instead of his right arm on the top, the other statue would have the left arm over top, which I think would be better. But, what are you gonna do? And I do think it would be wise to maybe have a fountain or something here. Like, I mean, it doesn't match well, but who cares? It's fancy. We want to have fanciness here. If not, you could put like large braziers instead, just to kind of fill that out. And then we need lights out here as well for the front. So let's go to lights, and we'll go ahead and get some of the wall braziers. I think it would be in order. So the Turanian ones, I'm going to put these up high on the corners, so that way it covers a lot of the area with lighting. And I do think that maybe one, like, tiny braziers, although that actually is quite bright. Something that doesn't give off much light, so maybe these. Yeah. Those look really good. These were from a season pass in the past. And there we go, we got something like that. That looks beautiful. So very bright. It is during the day, so, you know. But that's okay. Alright, so the last thing we're going to do is just get ourselves a tour of this place. I'm going to go ahead and not punch the air, but I'm going to drop down. And look at this big old castle. I mean, honestly, it's not as big as like some other castles that people build. I mean, there are much larger castles, and I've built larger castles. These don't have walls around them either, which I was kind of thinking of doing that, but I think just having an open face like this is pretty good. So we walk up here and we get met with our beautiful statues and our beautiful fountains and the lighting that kind of lights up this place. Then we go inside and we're met with a warm inside with these wooden walls and these, you know, the brick and everything. And we have two sets of stairs, one going left, one going right up, that meet kind of in the same place. But in front of here, this is where, you know, you'd see the throne room. You could probably put two. It'd probably block the windows, but, you know, the windows are there for aesthetic reasons. But you could put two thrones here, and I have you sit there, you know, king and queen, king and king, queen and queen, you know, whatever. To the right side here, we have a large open space, which will be a great place to have a lot of the crafting benches. I think that would be a great place to have them, since this is quite a big space, so you might be able to fit a lot in here. I just know it might be a little crammed, and you might not have much walking space, because most of them you might have to put either on this side of the wall or this side of the wall, which probably recommend this side, so that way you don't run into these gaps here in the corners where the towers are. But moving to the left side, we have what would be considered the kitchen here. And then over here, this will be the dining area, or someplace where you'd eat, pretty much. So going upstairs, we're going to go up the left stairs. So left here is going to be just kind of this hallway space. And then the room that's next to it on the same floor is going to be one bedroom. And then to mirror the other side, we have the similar layout where we also have this hallway and then another bedroom here. So you can have up to two people. I mean, probably more than two, obviously, but, you know, two people at least. At least. And then there's a set of stairs here because there's like a lot of sunlight coming in. And if we go up here, we're actually going up to the roof, which is pretty cool. So we can overlook here and we can see who's coming and going. And you get pretty much a 360 view just about. There are some blind spots here, but you can see area for the most part. So if your base is under attack, you can see exactly where they're coming from any side. And then we have this middle part here, which this place could be used for maybe sorcery stuff, or maybe even more benches, or something specific that you want to put here. Maybe not a shrine, but maybe you could demolish this part and just put a big old shrine in the middle. Maybe a shrine or two, which my favorite shrine is the set one. But yeah, that is pretty much the tour of this place, and it looks really good. I think it turned out really, really nice. And if you did enjoy this, like I said at the beginning, you guys can hit that like button if you haven't already. I'd really appreciate that. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well, because it lets me know you guys enjoy the content on the channel and would like to see more. I'd like to give a shout out to all of my channel members whose names I'll put up on the screen right now. Thank you for becoming a member, and if you are interested in getting using exclusive emotes during live streams, or being able to see videos before they go public every day at 1 p.m., you can hit that join button down below and become a member. And become a superstar today. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I've been Savvy, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys. See you later.